this. Okay, Olen, we're now broadcasting, although we still don't have a quorum.
So, good evening, folks. One of us is at
How's
home.
the agenda look, by the way?
What's that?
How does the agenda look?
The agenda looks good to me. I think as we don't have a quorum, it's hard for us to make any decisions on the pertinent items about our articles of incorporation or whatever they are. That's going to be.
Bruce is here.
Bruce.
The usual suspects.
Happy to see you. You make a quorum. We have Olen online.
Olen. Yeah, how you doing?
As always. All right, well, give Bruce a second to take his coat off, and then Olen, since you're the one with the computer handy, if we show the agenda on us, we won't see you. Probably it'd be more practical for you to run the meeting. If that's all right with Bruce. Bruce is fine with that.
Did you plug in somewhere?
Yeah, there's a cord, there's a electricity right here. We're going to be moving. Oh, well, theoretically, we're moving to that table. I don't know what the deal. Supposedly that was reserved for us. I see. That's what they told me when I came in. We can find them eventually. Yeah. All right, Olen, we're ready.
I'm sorry. Hold on. My password kicked me out. I love and hate technology.
Okay, well, we have the agenda up.
Okay, go ahead and start.
So go ahead and swallow water.
Yeah,
Then,
is he doing it?
yeah, you're doing it now because
I'm doing it
he
now?
can't find it.
Okay. Call to order. Dave, settle down.
Cheers. So here are you, Bruce,
Here I am.
myself, Brad, David is here, and Olen is online.
Yes. All right. Expecting anybody else?
Brian Lewis may appear,
Okay.
hopefully. He's been invited.
He's stuck in the crowd of this.
God knows. So, adoption of the agenda?
All right, if I can see that, that's a lot better. Okay. Adopting the agenda. Okay. Looking at the agenda here.
The agenda was kind of cobbled together. Olen kind of basically subcontracted me to put it together, but he has blessed it. Says that it's okay, that I did an okay job.
All right. See you, man. All right. Looks good to me. No problem.
All right. Next.
Okay. Let's approve the December minutes. Olen will now read the December minutes.
Olen had mentioned before you got here that the December minutes are a work in progress, but
Okay.
that he will be eventually getting them together and distributing them to us.
Okay. We will approve the
So we have to skip that, I think, for now.
preparation of the December.
Right. Now it's time for the chair's report, which I guess the vice chair will give.
All right, let's see here. The chair's report. Vice chair's report.
Do you want anything to drink?
Oh, that'd be great. Tonic water. I don't think there's nothing super coming to mind about that we need to report as a chair.
Any exciting news from the state level for
Exciting news
gallery?
from the state level? Yeah. There's some stuff going on at the state level. I can report that.
You do have a strategic plan on the agenda for
Oh,
later.
well, let's leave that. Steal my own thunder. Okay. Nothing at the chair level, I would say.
Okay. I believe that Brian is working on putting together interest groups of people that are going to focus on particular areas. Probably that will be helped by the progress that David is making on the platform slash whatever it's not really called a platform, right? The issues page, right? Which will provide some focus for that. But of course, the main thing will be what people are actually interested in. But I don't know where he's at on that. But I know that is.
He's under new business. He's number 1.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Okay. Oh, David is. Yes. Right. So we going on to the treasurer's report?
Sure.
Okay, the treasurer's report.
We saw a written version of the treasurer's report.
That's right. I did distribute a written version of the treasurer's report, and the highlight was that we made 2016 was an all-time record-breaking year for us in that we collected more money. It probably spent more money too, although I didn't look at that, than ever has happened in the history of the Wake County Libertarian Party, going back to 1992, I believe. And it's possible that we raised more money in 2016 than we had raised in all of the previous years combined. I'm not absolutely positive about that, but as far as my records go back, that is the case. So it was a great year, and we need to do it again.
Can I ask a point of information?
Please.
That's what they call it. I saw the December figures. What I was curious about was over the course of the year, from January to December, it seemed like December didn't account for everything, and regular donations don't account for everything. So I'm curious where some of the other donations come from, because that may be a place where we want to go back to and use that to help with the donation.
Sure.
Should be kicking off.
Sure, I'd be happy to compile a list of those. If you go
just so that we know what works.
Let me point out that if you go into Nation Builder, which everybody here, if possibly excepting David, I don't remember whether I've given him access or not, but I certainly will be. If you go in and click on the finance button in the Nation Builder, you get a list of all the donations in reverse chronological order.
Okay, so that's what I need to do. I have not been in Nation Builder.
Right. So
is that like a Google Hangout thing, or is that a different?
It's a different thing. So I guess we need to do a Nation Builder, little seminar, which I'll schedule one of those.
Okay. Nation Builder seminar.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for the treasurer's report?
That was great.
All right, on to old business. I thank and disband the relocation committee, as we no longer need them. I mean, they've done a great job, but
they did a fantastic job, and we are reaping the fruits of their labor.
Literally, in some cases.
Literally.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay, great. So I move that we thank and disband the relocation committee.
Second.
Olen, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Brad and Bruce.
Anybody oppose that? Passes 3-0. Strategic plan update.
Okay. So,
now this would be the Wake strategic plan update, actually.
Okay. I will give you the Wake strategic plan. But to do that, I have to step back and give you the context of the LPNC strategic plan initiative. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
He's been co-opted.
Yeah,
I know a thing was going on, all that, and that you were involved.
Those damn LPNC guys, they saw talent and they just grabbed it.
So the LPNC guys found a victim to help update the LPNC strategic plan.
Have you seen this document?
I did see it like 6 months ago. I stared at it.
Bruce has studied it very closely.
I've had a look at it too, and it's very nice. It's very professionally laid out and has a lot of key metrics. And what we want to do is basically update it, keep it current, and also maybe make some tweaks to it so that it's a little bit easier to use as an implementation tool, or so that it will feed into creating some things that are easier to sort of grab onto and say, here's what we should do. And to that end, when Brian, maybe it was you, Brad, I forget who it was exactly, who suggested that I should step in and chair the LPNC strategic committee.
Brian, definitely Brian.
Brian suggested it. And so I decided to do that because having that makes it much easier to have a coherent county Wake LP plan, because it basically borrow a lot from that. And it will
And at least be consistent with it.
Consistent, coordinated, we won't be fighting against each other, working in different directions, and so on. And what's very interesting too is that having the Wake plan can then easily be, passed on to any other county in North Carolina that want them. As an example, as a motivating idea for them, or it could be used in organizing counties, new counties, the recruiting tool or whatever. It could be used in a multitude of different ways. So that's what's happening. We had our meeting, a kickoff meeting last night to talk about the state plan, and then I'll be pulling all of that into the Wake strategic plan, which we will, of course, look at, debate, tweak, make sure it fits.
The meeting last night, incidentally, being a hangout with like 8 participants, all of whom were pretty highly verbal, and Bruce did an outstanding job of wording the caps.
Well, anyway, they wasn't such a bad hurt, actually.
They were pretty well behaved, yeah.
They were actually.
What are the other counties that are pretty active? Durham, Buncombe?
Brad, you know that.
And Mecklenburg and Orange and sort of New Hanover. New Hanover has been active in the past. They kind of went into quiescence, but
where exactly is New Hanover?
New Hanover is Wilmington, right?
Oh, okay. Well, we had a guy from Wilmington.
Exactly. I was about to say
committee.
David Terry is one of the new young Turks from Wilmington.
Works for Corning.
Could be.
Oh yeah, they do have a big.
You drive past it when you go to
Yeah, no, I was gonna say.
Yeah, we had, I believe, 3 people at the convention, at the national convention, as delegates from North Carolina who were from New Hanover.
So that's a rich hunting ground then for the
Potentially.
state, for the state
Yeah,
level.
those are the guys that were going to put on that show, but it didn't come out. It didn't work out.
So lots of interesting stuff, and we'll be looking for at the state level.
So
we'll be
what's your
looking for lots of
time frame? Because clearly the Wake plan is kind of like, the train, the next car in the train behind this one. So what's the time frame for the LPNC plan?
Well, the LPNC, Brian actually threw out a very leisurely plan of 6 months, and I thought that was a bit too generous. So I'm going to try to pull that into, maybe no more than an 8-week effort.
Yeah, it doesn't
Because-
seem like it needs 6 months worth of work.
No. 3, 4, 5 meetings, and we should be there.
I think to me it seems like the work is more making sure there's a consensus than in actually making the changes themselves. The changes themselves seem pretty straightforward.
I think the consensus is important. Yeah. And a lot of the things, Olen, that you put together actually will be very helpful. I'm gonna slide those in, sort of get them into the context of the strategic state plan, because I think some of the ideas there are very good.
Hey, apparently it is possible to have somebody talk to a group.
So then it'll be promulgated up to the state plan and come back down as the county plan.
Sneaky.
Yeah, it's very sneaky.
Nice to get that tail wagging that dog.
That's right. That's right. Wake County, biggest county.
All right. So,
I'm a big tail.
Oh, it's the big tail.
You're the guy who does the paychecks. You just need to say, be quiet.
any questions?
It's like a church in here. I feel like they just started. Any comments, questions on the strategic plan?
Guess that would be a no. Next on the agenda,
Be the outreach something.
outreach update from
Outreach
Olen.
update.
Olen, you're
I can
on.
almost see that.
With me being a little under the weather in some ways over the last month, not a whole lot has been going on. But I stepped out I know this isn't outreach because we're not trying to find salvation for the communists in the world. But Anthony Smith and I have sort of hung out in some of those places, try to understand more deeply the objections people have specifically against libertarians. And we want to try to incorporate those thoughts into how we form some of the outreach efforts. Because I think that in one of our groups on Facebook, there was this question, what are the presupposed things about libertarians that are flawed? Well, we had a lot of them, but I've, sort of come across a whole lot more. So it is important for us in outreach to understand where the people we are trying to talk to are coming from. There are people out there who specifically do not like us, which is fine. Love it. Let them do that. But we do need to be forearmed by being forewarned. So, good.
Sounds good.
Hey, Olen?
We couldn't hear every word, but
When
Okay.
you say there are people, do you mean, for example, that website or Facebook page, Americans Against the Libertarian Party?
Yep, that's the one I was at most recently.
Yeah, they're a bunch of lunatics.
yeah, I think they're
Sure.
even more obscure than libertarians themselves, for the most part.
Oh, they eat people for breakfast. I mean, it's I've met in the 2 weeks that I've been on there, just sort of trying to have a rational conversation. I've met one person that tried to have a rational discussion with me instead of reaching back to tropes. So I think for me, it's been helpful just to go to these other places where I'm not welcome and to try to understand how to be beaten up a little bit, you know, which probably wasn't good for me over these last couple of weeks, but hey, I did it anyway. So.
All right.
I have a couple of classmates who are like really liberal, socialist liberal types, and I do that once every while in a while with. But for the most part, I mean, they are not low-hanging fruit, and you're never going to convince them. So
No, it's not.
it's
My
fun
effort
to,
there
but
was not to
not
convince
productive.
anybody.
I joined it when I saw Olen's comment on one of them. I went ahead and joined the group, or not joined the group, but friended the group and then unfriended the group just to follow them or follow them. Unfollow them, whatever. I couldn't follow them for very long because it was like nerve-wracking.
Are they like just avowed socialists?
I've never looked at this group.
I mean, it's
Straight up
interesting
communist.
to see what, sort of holding up the mirror, to see what how other people are characterizing the party, which is largely as heartless capitalists, that invented the Coke brothers.
I've always said young Republicans are who we should target as far as converts. You look at for me outside of Olen's district, most of our converts in my mind are young Republicans. People that don't support the crony capitalism. They're capitalists, but they don't support the favors and all that other
It's
stuff.
Tea Party guys, and then the second group are Occupy Wall Street. Those are the two things we have a shot at. I mean,
Yeah.
Tea Party's better than Occupy
That's
Wall
why I'm not sure, like, hanging out on that website, once somebody's committed, there's no point in somebody else trying to convert me. I've already got my religion. You're not going to convert me.
Yeah, you're totally right, David. Totally right.
You can talk at me and I'll listen because, well, sometimes I will because I'm borderline polite, but I think we really just, other than,
It's cheap entertainment, and it's helpful to sharpen your engagement
young
skills.
Republicans and then the few Democrats out there who are, that understand capitalism, even though they don't like it per se, is the only system that works. And anyway.
Yeah, I went specifically for the hostile audience. I felt that I had this one interaction that was pretty aggressively hostile the day before the election this last cycle, and it really threw me off. And it was something I really wanted to get to.
Like chasing down the people that also follow the John Locke Foundation.
May be useful for sharpening your skills, but
Right.
not for getting a lot of content.
No, that's not the point at all. But I've found a lot of common stuff that there are several people I've found that are interested in helping Anthony and Marsalis and a fellow named Kentoris. We want to try to put something together and make it a pretty good tight presentation.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Moving on.
Okay, so the next is a PDF update.
POP update.
Oh.
That's the pyramid, whatever it is, project.
Pyramid scheme in place?
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Got it.
good.
Well, the concept is that this has been around for a while. The concept is basically to precinct by precinct work through the 200 precincts in Wake County, knock on the doors of every libertarian for whom we have an address, but nothing else, and see if they're interested in helping out. Plus, of course, anybody in that precinct who happens to be a Republican, Democrat, or unaffiliated voter, or even an unregistered person who has contacted us via Facebook or Twitter or on the website or given money. There's a few people that have given money that aren't registered libertarians. So basically, to try to get better contact information for them and gauge their level of interest in doing more, and getting involved. So
and this is called the Pyramid Scheme.
Pyramid Outreach Project.
Okay.
It's pyramidal in the sense that presumably, as you begin talking to these folks, you'll find others who are willing to help out. So it's built on itself. It's a concept.
And who's leading that? You're leading that?
Yes.
Okay.
And I haven't done much on it directly, but indirectly, what I've been doing is trying to recruit nation builder talent, database talent. And I got 3 people so far who are potentially interested. Only one of them's in Wake, one's in Mecklenburg, and I'm not even sure what the other one might be in Wake, actually. I'm not sure where the third one is.
Brad, I have a question pertaining.
Go ahead.
So are we going to try to assist the state with accomplishing this sort of database thing, or are we just doing this?
In the sense of making a model, yes. In the sense of actually doing any work outside of Wake County, no.
Okay.
That is to say, we have a model in Wake County that I think would work anywhere, that either in the sense of the linked databases we have where we share data, anything we enter into our database in terms of a new phone number, new email, automatically is shared with no extra work by the state. And vice versa, by the way, if they find something. And once we get this model set up, the state can use either their own state database for, Buncombe County, let's say for the sake of argument, or they can set up a separate database for Buncombe County and help them get set up. Either way, it doesn't matter. And they can use the same methodology, which is, making a walk list, going out, knocking on doors, and getting the information and feeding it back into the database. So the answer to your question is yes and no. I mean, it's basically the same thing we're doing with everything here, right? We're trying to create templates that can be exported to other counties, but we're not doing their work for them.
Well, the thing is, I think once we have a data team, they'll help us for all of, a little
right,
bit.
but our data is going to be for Wake County people, so it won't really help any other county directly.
Right. Well, the data miner, like there's one of the guys.
The personnel. I see what you're saying. Yeah, conceptually, that now I'm putting on my IT LP&C hat. I would like to get somebody in every county that's active that has nation builder chops, so that they can manage. See, so one of the things that we need to do in Wake and everywhere else too is to clean the data, because the way that it works, that we get the data from the State Board of Elections, they give us new information every month, but they never tell us people that have dropped out, who have, moved out of this county, died, switched registrations. There's no way they don't have a report or the capability of gathering that information in an easy way, so they can't report it to us. As a consequence, we have maybe 5 to 8% of our data are obsolete. You'll go to knock on a door and the guy won't be there anymore, or he'll have switched to being a Republican. That needs to be cleaned up before we send these volunteers out wasting their time knocking on doors. And that's what you need the nation builder talent for, among other things. But that's the main thing with respect to this project.
So Brad, how big is your staff for this project?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. So, I mean, Brian does some work on nation builder, but there's not too many other people that are really conversant with it. Susan now could do work, but she has been kind of not really too focused on doing work since the election yet. I think she's going to come back, and that's why it's important that I try to get as many of these volunteers. They're like, she told me there were 6 people who were really actively involved in Nation Builder in the campaign, and I know now 3 of them, and I still don't know the other 3. She's had a hard time exactly putting her fingers on who they are. So,
because we'll need people to walk the streets with.
Well, the walking the streets people are not necessarily the same people that are the Nation Builder people. There's a lot more people who walk the streets and, are interested in getting involved in Nation Builder. So we do have about 70 volunteers in Wake County. We have 200 precincts, so we're,
I mean, this sounds like a great thing.
We're 130 precincts short of, if everybody took 2 precincts, we'd still be, 60 precincts short. So we need more volunteers, which is why this is important to do this.
And we have how many members? You're thinking
there are 4,000 registered libertarians in Wake County. So out of those 4,000, if we could get 50 who would volunteer, which, would be what, like 1%, 1.5%, less than 1.5%. That would be outstanding.
Well, but so for 40, if you had 70 volunteers, visit 4,000 people in Wake County, each one would have to see 60 people.
Yeah, well, they're not going to visit all those people. They're going to visit people in their precinct, which varies from 8 people. Some precincts have like 30 registered libertarians in them. We may need a couple people to help out with those precincts.
Right.
Okay. Additional question. How are we going to move this forward? Like right now, can we set a Saturday work day for some people who want to try to participate in this?
The next step in moving forward is we're about to put out a newsletter. I've been holding it back a few days because Brian Lewis had a piece he really wanted to run in it, which he's been promising to send me. And that will be soliciting folks to do, among other things, this activity. We're going to follow up with contacting all of the 70 volunteers, which is a subset of the total list that we have of emails, and actually, seeing how many of them would be willing to do their precincts. Once we get a list of people who are willing to do their precincts, we can start focusing on those particular precincts and getting the data ready in those precincts for those people, so they don't waste their time knocking on dead people's doors.
Okay.
You also, the strategic planning, the action plan. I mean, my thing is when you knock on the door, you have to have, will you volunteer? Maybe. What do you need me to do? Right? I mean, my thing is you have to knock on the door with a specific request. I want you to volunteer to do either A, B, or C.
Right.
If you don't like people, you can do this and do it with your computer at home, figure it out, or you can go be social, or
you could just give us $5 a month.
Or you can give us $5 a month.
So that we can do that.
There should be some sort of
menu.
So
menu,
the initial request is, will you help us with this 4,000 doors?
No, time out. The initial request is, will you give us your email and your phone number so we don't have to
right.
Email. You don't have to send you snail mail or knock on your door.
As far as the first volunteer activity, it would be, can you help us get to these 4,000?
Now, I wouldn't be too much expecting you're going to get a hard sell opportunity to get a lot of actual action out of this necessarily. The main thing that we want is to get contact. If we get contact with people, then we can begin building a relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
The average time to get a contribution for a nonprofit is 7 times. 7 contacts it takes to get.
I understand. I mean, for me, part of the sale is whatever actiony thing you're going to do. Hey, city council elections are in November.
Right.
We're going to this.
Oh yeah.
I
totally agree with you.
Tell you about what
I totally agree with you. It's got to be there. I mean, it's like the New York Times. You don't have to read it all, but it's nice to know it's all there. We want them to realize that it's all there when they're ready. Okay.
So I guss that means we need a package that each person takes to.
Yeah, we'll have to work up a script.
Presentation.
Actioning.
Great to give them something.
Yeah, we can give them a freshly printed, here's your Wake County Libertarian information thing.
Thanks for opening the door.
Which shows, Oak and Dagger instead of the Gourmet Factory. We could probably get a print up new ones of those.
Maybe they could get them to give them to us. Maybe we can Oak and Dagger to print it up.
Yeah. Dream on.
New headquarters for the Wake County Libertarian
It'd be a door hanger then if they're not.
Ooh, it'd be free advertising for them.
Yeah, so even if they don't answer, you can leave the door hanger. And we're not competing with anybody else at the moment. So if you were to do this in like April, nobody else is putting anything out. So the door hanger would just have to have places to meet us and talk about us. Go visit our website, send us money.
Yep, that's a good idea. All right, I like that. Sold. Door hanger instead of a card. All right, any other questions on the pop? Moving on to the school presentation project update. I haven't done anything on that. I need to contact the Wake County Democratic and Republican chairs again and start that up again. I just haven't had it over the holidays. Didn't seem like a good time to do that.
In terms of prioritization, would you say that POP takes higher priority than the school presentation, or
yes,
in terms of your personal
definitely.
time and bandwidth?
Yeah, but the POP needs more time than the school thing. The school thing doesn't really need a lot of time, I don't think.
Have you thought about
I think, Bruce, we want to try to create this so that other people can take that presentation around when we have opportunities in the future.
Yeah, I vaguely remember you saying something about putting together or having something that you was moving in that direction already, right?
Well, I do, and I got an invitation to go to one of the.
Okay, well, it's not an emergency, but if you have something
Yeah.
or can develop something, that would be great.
Right. Yeah, I just have a rough outline. What is a libertarian? What's the history of libertarianism?
Keep in mind that we don't want to be attacking the other parties. We're going to be doing this presentation with them, so it's got to be positive, and it's middle school and high school, so the prime targets.
Well, I'm developing it for high school. We can always dumb down, right? So.
All right. Any other questions on that?
No, just, I mean, it would be great if we can somehow disseminate, the projects. So that everybody has like one main thing that they're working on. And just a thought. I know you have infinite bandwidth, practically.
No, I don't. I'd be happy if Olen volunteered to put the
Olen already has a
presentation
project too. He
together.
has the outreach
Right.
project. So I mean, if we can somehow, arrange things.
I don't think it's a big deal to put together a presentation for the school. I mean, and once one is in existence, then somebody will come along and say, "Oh my God, that's terrible. I can do much better," which you wouldn't get them to say if they didn't see the terrible one in the first place. So, I'm fine with creating the terrible one that gets replaced. It's not a big deal.
Right. But of course, if
But
you
the
want
main
to do
thing is-
multiple different schools,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
going to take somebody quite a bit of time.
Right. Well, this would be another thing that we could offer to people as a thing they could do. That is to give the presentation at schools.
Right.
So kids with parents with kids probably might find that to be something that they would, that'd be a nice thing to be able to do. So anyway, so that's where that is. No progress there.
It's not something that's like urgent in the sense
No.
that we absolutely have to do this before we do something else. Either.
No.
That's sort of
Okay,
a
my
long-term
take on this is that this
growth
is something I want to do in 2017 when I'm not running for any office, because I can't do it when I'm running for office. I was really gung-ho to do it a year ago, but then I got shanghaied into running for office, and I just let it drop because it wasn't appropriate to be talking with the chair of the Democratic, about doing some cooperative thing when I'm running for parks and office. So that's my time frame.
Those libertarian Shanghai.
Yeah.
Incredible.
All right. So new business.
New business. Okay. Perfect distance, so I cannot see it either with or
Issues.
without my glasses.
Issues Compendium
Issues
project.
Compendium. Okay.
That's David.
All right. So we have our 8 issues. Maybe I'll copy you on the next email. There they are. We have tried to get 2 new people, Jake and Richard, to write out some of the issues. They gave me their first drafts. You saw my email where I commented. I haven't seen anybody provide any feedback. So, for example, I know Brad wants Wake election reform to include something about redrawing districts with an independent commission.
Well, actually, I'm not sure that's not a Wake issue so much as a. Hey, Brian. That's not a Wake issue so much as a state issue, right? Because Wake per se doesn't have anything to say about that.
But we have so many districts in this county.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It's something that should be on our issues page that people considering what we just ran for, the number of people running.
I guess that makes sense.
Something we should have a stance on. Olen, who brought up the LGBT stuff and civil rights, is going to give me a paragraph for that probably by Monday or Tuesday. And so those are first drafts. So Olen, who I can't hear on this computer, is going to write me a paragraph. There's one more that's due out. And then once I have everything in the first draft, I'm going to try to press Jake or Richard to comment again. I like Jake's healthcare one kind of, but I need, if mental health is a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal for Pendleton. It's a big issue in Wake County because Dorothy wandered off. It's a dog. That's the first
You
draft.
should put the dog in charge of the paragraph. We can hear him.
Yeah, that's the other one that added the 8 issues in it. Again, taking what is 8 years out of date on the website and just getting 8 issues that are relatively current. I don't expect this to be. I certainly don't expect everybody to agree on the wording of each, but the wording was supposed to be broad enough where nobody would point to it and go, I strongly disagree with what the Libertarian Party says on this issue. By the way, I'm on the point. So it was meant to give, wiggle room. Generally, libertarians agree taxes should be low.
I have a suggestion. I think this is an excellent opportunity, and it will also raise awareness of the effort for marketing and letting people know kind of what we're doing and giving them a sense of that stuff. We should publish a preliminary version of this someplace and ask people to take a look at it.
All right, I don't think these are quite ready for preliminary.
When you're ready.
Yeah, I'm hoping Olen steps up. Maybe I'll get Mr. Lewis to write a paragraph thing on environment, and then I'll have 8 issues, and it'll be in draft form. And then if I don't hear back from Jake or Richard, Jake lives near me, maybe I can get him to go have a beer with me. If I can't get any more progress on a couple of these, I may just tweak them a bit myself. If you want to take a crack and copy Richard on electoral reform or whatever, great.
Okay.
But that's where we're at with that. And again, that's just to make the issues page relatively current and everything generic enough where the libertarian candidates won't really disagree with each other strongly. Like it'll be, hey, I agree with that. And in addition to, I personally care about
16-year-olds to be able to vote.
So we disagree there, but I mean, that's fine. But I mean, certain things, I mean, nobody thinks gerrymandering is really a great idea.
I think there are a lot of people that think it's a great idea. They're
nobody in our party is the point. So anyway, that's where I am with that. I hope that this is done by mid-January, but things being what they are, I suspect this will go on until the end of January.
Well, it might make sense to deliberately slow it down a little bit in order to allow some publicity.
That's true. It's the other nice thing about this little project is these are 2 people who have not been very active volunteers who I'm trying to pace and see if I can get them to produce.
How's that look?
A little bit.
Yeah, that's a terrific example of how we need to grow the party by engagement.
What did he say?
As they get some.
Can you repeat that?
It's a terrific example of trying to grow the party by getting engagement. They have something to do, and because of that, they're interested in being involved.
The border's right there somewhere. Apparently in Wake County, I've been talking with Susan a lot on Facebook, but is in marketing. Has a lot to say about messaging. Actually, might be very good to have her go over some of the verbiage.
This guy goes in marketing too. That's the thing. So the first draft for me is to get.
Oh, Jake is in marketing. Okay.
No, not Jake.
No, Jake is. Jake does.
Jake is also. Oh,
yeah.
Well, so
but
is Richard.
It's to get 8 of these with the right general message in them, and then as numerous people mentioned, the same person maybe should go through all 3 to give them the same tone and feel. And that's fine.
Just
I
some
really
sort of
don't care.
internet marketing or something like that.
Yeah,
But she seemed pretty well spoken on Facebook, so could be helpful. Wordsmithing.
Sounds good.
I'll send you her thing.
I just want this done by hopefully late January, first week of February at the latest, so I can move on to something else.
That's an important thing.
No, but for me it's so broke that 90. I personally accept something like 90% good on something like this just to continue the attack.
Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing having that page on the Wake County thing while we were running. It was really.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it'll be helpful in a lot of ways too. I mean, that's kind of like one of the things that when we're thinking strategically.
Well,
if you have that done early, you can then use that for
Right.
the pop efforts.
Right. Absolutely. All right.
Next, revision of plan of organization.
Okay. The
Another
revision.
Brad.
Okay, so I distributed a copy of what I'd done. There's a bunch of verbiage that minor things that were changed there. I did it as a Word document so that if you don't have Word, it's a problem. Let me know. But it shows the original text and the revised text. The 2 major changes, as I mentioned in the note, are 1, adding a 5th person to the executive committee, which would be an at-large member, not a specific officer, and but it's that person that would have a vote. And then the other thing is changing the term of office from 1 year to 2 years, running from from odd-numbered years to odd-numbered years, so that in fact, all of our officers would have a full election cycle. Detail of the thing here. What I could do, if people are interested, is have a online hangout and go through it if people want to do that. I do think it makes sense because unlike this document, that document actually needs to be approved by the convention. So we do need to do some kind of a publicity, like getting people, you know, aware that
The
we're
WakeLP.
the WakeLP Convention, right? We need to let our members know that we're doing it and show them why we're doing it and what we're doing, so that hopefully when the time comes that we do the vote, it's just pro forma.
That's not how the other parties operate. We should just do it quietly and not tell anyone about it.
So just as a matter of syncing this up, we will have one more single-year term for the executive committee, and then
No, we won't. The idea is to start in 2017 because we want to start in an odd-numbered year. If we wait, we'll have to have 2 more single-term years. So we want to do it now, and this would be the first two-year cycle, starting 2017 through 2018, and then 2019 through 2020 would be the next, and so on.
Okay. Okay.
You need to do it in an odd-numbered year because there's a full North Carolina General Assembly cycle every 2 years, and you don't want to be, you know.
It just depends on how you look at it. Because we're right back up against the election.
Right, exactly. Now this year could be exceptional also because there could be a North Carolina General Assembly election in 2017, but that's a one-off, so it's not really relevant.
So we'd always be changing direction at the end of each election cycle.
Yeah,
to some degree.
So procedurally, just a question on, is this something that the board sort of pre-approves and say, with the endorsement of the board, we propose this to
There's no formal mechanism for that, but I'm suggesting that we do that, yes.
And in that same question of formal mechanism, is there anything required from the state?
No.
Okay, they don't
have
need
total
to say,
control.
we accept you as an employee
No.
doing this.
WakeLP has total control. But however, I will mention that I did talk with Brian Irving about it before I even talked to you guys about it, because he was the one that had the most history, and he basically said that thought it was a great idea to go to 2-year terms. And he also liked the idea of the 5th person just because it's more practical. With 4, you need 3 to have a quorum, and with 5, you still need 3 to have a quorum. So it makes you have more people to draw from to get those 3. So just from a practical standpoint, it just makes more sense to have a 5-person board. So, all right. Any questions about that?
Can we also block any ethics investigations of ourselves?
We don't have an ethics or a judicial committee. The state does have such a thing.
By default.
So yeah, it's blocked by default. Although we could appoint such a group, I suppose. So the last item is the 2017 convention.
The 2017 convention.
With Olen's consulting with Olen, we have kind of like decided to invite James Hines as our keynote speaker. He's going to be talking about the state convention in Lake Lure in August, obviously. In Lake Lure, really? Lake Lure, right? Yeah.
Pretty near burned down.
Oh, cool. So you can stay at your place for free.
Place that burned to the ground.
Bring a tent.
Bring a tent, right? So anyway, so that's settled, and we've started the publicity for it. And also, I did an informal survey of everybody with respect to their intentions for the following cycle, which, keeping in mind, is a 2-year cycle. And everybody is planning to run again, with the possible exception of Olen, and who said he would have a decision probably by today.
And that's specifically because we had discussed trying not to run a candidate that's in the executive committee.
Right. Well, you can always resign.
And for the duration. Yeah. So if that being the case, I would run again.
You would or
Do
you
a
would
better
not?
job this time. Will. Yes.
Will.
C.
So
Hi.
it doesn't sound like we need to do much recruiting, but we, of course, do need to let folks know that these offices are up for election, and someone could decide to run against us. And if somebody does run against me for treasurer, I will vote for him or her. So I don't know what else we need to do, other than somebody needs to talk to, and
When is it?
It's the first day of March.
Where is it?
So somebody needs to talk to the Oak and Dagger folks, as I was just about to
I
say.
think our publicity thing, touch a word.
Well,
I intend to come. I didn't know it was here or on the first day of March or anything like that. Just ribbing you a little bit.
Well, I didn't want to announce it until we knew who the guest of honor was, and I didn't know who the guest of honor was until yesterday. So, but it is out there now. It's on Facebook, it's on Meetup, and it's on the LPNC webpage, and it will be in the newsletter that is about to come out.
So the numbers that we're going to advise them here, we anticipate 30.
I would be surprised if we got more than 30. We've never had more than 30. But, you know, hope springs eternal.
Right. So 50.
We certainly need to advise them that we expect to have a larger crew. And I mean, it looks like that middle area could be used. So.
Or we can hang out in the tanks.
Right. All right. So since I have been
standing around, it's going to be a short distance.
Since I've been dealing with the Oak and Dagger folks, I'll be happy to let them know that I know the operations guy and everything like that. By the way, all these contacts are in Nation Builder, so if I get hit by a truck, all the contact information and the record of discussions with them, it's all there. So what else do we need to talk about with respect to the convention?
We know we know what we're basically doing, who's doing the agenda.
Well, there is an agenda posted there, which, you know, I just copied from last year.
Okay, yeah. And we're just going to add the
we should probably all review it and see if we think it's okay.
Okay.
I mean, we added, I think there's a plan of organization vote is in there. And I don't remember whether there's specifically a vote on, the plan of organization will take care of adding the 5th person. So right now there's not a 5th person listed as an election thing, but we would have to dynamically add that if the plan of organization gets adopted with our change, then we would add another office.
What are the main orders of business for that?
Electing officers,
making the changes.
change the board to the plan of organization, naming delegates to the state convention, and I think that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. We have the guest of honor. We don't have to deal with hotels or accommodations.
True. I offered him to come virtually if he wished, and I told him we could hook him up to a large screen TV, but he thinks it's important for him to come in person, so he's coming in person.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I agree, but Plus, I do believe that he is desirous of advancing his career in the state party, so he probably wants to hobnob with us on anyway. All right, so that's it, I guess, for the convention.
Okay. Are we all scrolled all the way to the bottom?
Yeah, that's it. If there's other new bits or
Any other city council? Any plan? Or do we have a candidate in mind? Are we going to assume for now that hopefully the court keep 2017 out of the General Assembly and we just can focus on local? Any plan to run anybody local?
My thinking on that is that we should focus on the 2018 General Assembly stuff and try to get as many. I mean, we only had 6 of the 13 seats covered, right? So, I mean, we got a ways to go to even cover those bases. If we find somebody who's willing to run in 2018 but hasn't done anything before and wants to build up his name or her name, then running for local office in 2017 probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get some name recognition and some experience. But I do not foresee, from my perspective, I don't think it's I mean, we have such a short window between now and 2018 and so many slots to fill. It's daunting to think about trying to do 2017 to me. That's just my personal take on it.
And that's where I think the point of the marketing and attracting people and getting people to show up and then getting people inspired. Because going out hunting for the body versus having the bodies coming because we're presenting.
I certainly think on the menu of things that we talk to people about should be running for office, including local office. It should also be volunteering to serve on a citizen advisory board, which is great preparation for doing any of these things.
Well, I just point out
you can't always get
there's what, 8 for Raleigh City Council?
like
I just
seemed like it was
you
getting
can
loud.
really piss people off like that. that jackass that fought the Publix up where we are in North Raleigh, I mean, he's, you know, becoming a bit of a political figure in Raleigh. Just being an ass and being in North Raleigh and picking one of these projects and digging your heels in. I would advocate it makes sense to consider recruiting one person to just go screw everybody up in 2017. Pro Airbnb, pro development means pro affordable housing, because if you're building housing, then you're doing something. The city council is hindering development. It's only concerned about Kane and North Hills. You know, you can find something that would get you covered by being an ass. And the nice thing is when you do it local, the advertising gets a little easier.
True.
So I just
the other drawback, of course, from a PR point of view, is that it's not a partisan race. So you're not running as a libertarian.
Yeah, but you are.
Well, I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
not quite the same thing.
Oh, really? It's not partisan.
Not partisan, right? So you don't. It doesn't say libertarian on the ballot. But actually, that can be a good thing because you know the chances of your chances of being elected are probably greater in a nonpartisan race than they would be in a partisan race. Where, you know, let's be honest, the libertarian label isn't going to really be helping you.
McFarland bankrolls half those people, and then Kane through what is it, Gaylord? What's his name, or the other guy that works for Kane? I mean, it's all a little click. It's a perfect thing where you just throw somebody in there with. I think we should consider it.
I think it's a great idea. The problem would be finding somebody, you know, personable and dedicated. And,
I don't even think he has to be personal.
okay.
I would ideally find somebody
Articulate.
not personal.
Let me rephrase that. Articulate. And,
Yeah, fine. It has to be.
That's David.
No, does city issues well. Ideally, I would like somebody in real estate.
Right.
You know, somebody, because that's the big thing is building in cities. So either somebody who knows local transportation or real estate. And I don't have a strong enough.
Wait a minute. What about
big,
that urban planner guy that kept coming to our meetings and complaining?
Well, there's the guy up in Wake Forest who's a big guy, but he's not in Raleigh.
He probably wouldn't want to do it though because it would burn bridges for him career-wise.
Find somebody who's retired in real estate. I guess my point is I think that's worth spending at least 5 or 6 hours to see if we can find somebody who would be amenable to, you know, the couple $1,000s of help could, you know, spend 80 to 160 hours at least attending events and showing up at the N&O and ticking off Ned Barnett again. And, you know, it'd be great.
Okay.
Just tell them what the truth is, and you know they're not going to like it, but what am I going to do, right?
So you ready to run?
You ready to run? You're in city limits, I'm not.
You can even wear your hat.
Because the other thing I'll point out is if you run for Raleigh City Council, this is the state capital. So all those people from the General Assembly who are picking up the N&O and reading it, the fact that 1 or 2 crazy libertarians are now involved in the city council race is also going to be a little concerning because we also threw off numerous state races that were very competitive here in Wake County. So I just, you know, just continues that and keep coming. You know, we just hit them in 2016, hit them again in 2017.
Okay, here's my request. Email me or everybody a list of the issues that you see, you know, like maybe up to 6 that could be focused on.
Yeah, got it.
All right, great. And I'm going to be talking to lots and lots of volunteers, so I promise to raise that to a higher level if I have, you know, that material that I can use.
Would you like to run it?
So where are you going to put us now?
We've already got another 2 over there.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, so are we done? It's great. 54 minutes. Good job. Move to adjourn. All in favor? All right, Olen. Hope to see you later.
So this is so fun. My neighbor and I in our sparring match.